everybody for joining today. This is our admin and manager meetup that we talk about different topics related to Dynamics and Power Platform programs that you might have in place across all sort of segments of business, enterprise down to, medium and small. We probably focus more on CRM, but we also talk about ERP, and we have András here today is going to talk about a hackathon topic that kind of transcends both. But we're going to kick it off. I'm going to hand it over to Madison. She's going to share some slides around Dynamics user group and just things you should know about what's going on. Over to you, Madison.
Thanks, Nancy. Well, hello, everybody. For those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Madison Han, and I am the Meeting and Events Manager here at Doug. So just here to tell you a little bit about Doug, who we are, what all we offer, and I'm happy to answer any questions in the chat as well. So Doug is a free community for users, implementers, and resellers of Microsoft business applications. Our main goal is to support Microsoft Dynamics 365, GP, Power Platform, and AI. And we want to be able to give people the tools to excel and grow in their personal and professional careers. For our rules of engagement, we essentially ask that these meetups are held to be solely educational. So please no sales pitches. We want everybody to be able to come to these sessions to gain some free education without being sold a product. So please, 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 no selling products. And we also ask that you engage with your speakers. So I know we have a lot of YouTube watchers for these meetups, but if you are on the call today, would love for you to stay engaged with your speaker, ask questions. That's how you get the most out of these meetups anyway. And I know that our speakers always appreciate it as well. Doug or Dynamics User Group, we have multiple different programs. So we have open online discussion forums where you can go and pose questions about specific products and our community will help answer. We have some conferences, which I'll get into in a little bit. We have local meetups like this one, in person and virtual, all around the world. So this one is focused for manager and admin. We have a lot of location-based meetups as well. So if you're interested in either getting one started in your local area or joining an existing group, feel free to check out our website and you can find all of our local groups there. We also have a YouTube channel, like I'd mentioned before, where virtual meetups like this one will be posted on YouTube. So great way to kind of see what's going on in the rest of the world and what other people are talking about. And then we have a mentorship program as well, where you can get paired with a mentor or mentee, depending on what you would like to be. Nancy helps set that up. So if you want to learn more about that, either get connected with me or Nancy or check out our website. But really awesome opportunity if you're interested in joining. Our first conference that we have coming up, December 9th through the 12th in Miami. For those of you that have been around for a little while are probably familiar with Convergence. So Convergence is going to focus on AI and D365. This will be an almost full week of content, really great way to kind of have a firsthand connect with some Microsoft execs, learn what's coming next and upcoming, really, really awesome networking opportunities. So would highly encourage you guys to attend. We are almost sold out. I think we have like 30 tickets left. So if you were interested in attending, please get your ticket today because I am sure that they will be sold out by tomorrow. So if you're interested in coming, feel free to check out that QR code. I'll also send a link in the chat. We have our second conference coming up, the 2026 DynamicsCon in Vegas. This will be May 12th through the 15th. This is Doug's largest conference of the year. So we will have, again, an almost full week of education. I think we have over 300 sessions throughout the week, or 300 speakers throughout the week, even more sessions than that. So we have early bird pricing going on right now for $9.99. This discount ends December 31st. If you're interested in attending, please, please, please register soon. And this content is all driven by our planning committee, and which are all local community members. Next up, we have our 2026 DynamicsCon Regionals coming up. We're going to Tampa, Florida, January 14th, Vancouver, March 20th, Denver, Colorado, April 9th, and then we're going to go to Toronto, Canada in June. Accra, Ghana in July, Columbus, Ohio in August, Montreal in September, Germany in October, and Houston, Texas in November. And these are a little bit larger in scope than local meetups, but not quite as big as conferences. They're kind of a happy medium in between. They're usually about 150 to 300 attendees, on-site full day to 2-day events. And if you're interested in learning more, check out our website. I also forgot to mention with our 2026 DynamicsCon, call for speakers is open now. It just opened. It'll be open until December 31st. So if you're interested in being a speaker at DynamicsCon, please, we would encourage you to apply. Again, all of the sessions get chosen by other community members. So would love for you to submit your session. Even if you're a first-time speaker, we would love to have more speakers. We're always looking for more talent in the community. So would encourage you to apply, and I'll send that link in the chat. I also have to drop after this because I have to run to another meeting, but I'll still have access to the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in there. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Nancy. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Looking forward to Convergence. I'll be speaking there. So it'll be really good to have it come back. I'm really excited about that. Okay, András, over to you for sharing your screen without further ado.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Madison, also the informations around, just for introduction also for me and for some of my colleagues that are from Europe of what's going around. Really nice to see. Please let me know if the screen is visible. Perfect.
Yep, we can see it.
So thank you very much for joining. In the coming 45-50 minutes, give or take, let me lead you into a bit of journey into the worlds of hackathons, and mostly focused on, since we are focused here on the BizUp space around Microsoft Cloud, so Dynamics 365, CRM and ERP space. This is a walkthrough basically through the generic concepts and the topic and the area, and enhanced through the personal experiences. I have been involved here and there, let's say 20-25 hackathons, either organizing or participants. So it's definitely something that's very close to my heart as a tool or a vehicle to achieve value and purpose. But before we begin, actually, wait, let me find this space. Yes. So before we start, when you hear the word hackathon, what do you imagine in your head? What does it look like? What comes to the picture in your head? Anybody in the chat, or raise your hand, talk, speak? Is it something that's formalizing on the screen? Does this look familiar?
Yes, I envision something technical and geeky and very complicated.
Got it. Thank you. I do tend to ask this because nowadays I feel like it's 50-50 now, starting to change the concept, but originally indeed, this is the image around, and this is also fitting. So this is where traditionally it's coming from, but nowadays I think it's time to change it a bit and shake it up and move it around. And let's see if we can achieve something in the coming 40 minutes to move away a bit from this view or perspective. So nice to meet you all. I'm András, double MVP for Microsoft MVP for customer engagement and Power Apps or Power Platform, FastTrack recognized solution architect, speaker organizer, time to time here and there, mostly focused on Europe, mostly rather on the open source contributor space, on toolings, Power Platform connectors for Power Automate, things like this. And well, just to throw in a fun fact, then I'm part of a triplet. So there is 2 more of me somewhere around, currently in Hungary, in middle of Europe. So enough of this, and let's move forward. What we'll talk about here is first we'll check or look at what is a hackathon and how can you achieve or unlock value through it or with it. And then we take a bit deeper dive into an actual timeline. This is through now the experiences and really giving to you kind of a blueprint of how a few of my hackathons have been organized or running through, so it can be reused without starting from scratch. And looking a bit more deeper based on timeline into the concept of how you can craft your own. and finish with lessons learned, a few lessons learned, at least what were important for me throughout this journey. But before we begin yet again, why now? Why is this topic relevant? Why is this something to bring on the stage of a user group working mostly on administrator and manager level with Dynamics 365 CRM or ERP? A few headlines from Forbes lately on the screen, but probably similar things you have also seen flowing around from all over X, Twitter, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, all the social media and things. We are really living turbulent times in the cloud biz space nowadays. There is a rapid pace of skills changing. AI is everywhere. Low code is shifting. Teams really must learn fast and quick and preferably together, not in silos, since collaborative teams, based on studies, are performing a higher level than siloed teams. And as you could have guessed, based on the title of this presentation, I am a firm believer of hackathons being one of the tools for achieving great outcomes in this space and create a practice field, let's put it this way, for adaptation, both for upskilling and also for culture change or team building across your team members or colleagues. So let's look at Hackathon itself. What is Hack? Where is it coming from? Hackathon is actually a combination of two words. Hack, used in the sense of exploratory programming, and a marathon, meaning a longer-term intensive event or competition. The first one was just for historical lessons, organized, I think, 1999, something like that, in Canada, where a few developers came together. The original image, what we have shown, I have shown in the start of this presentation, to improve OpenBSD, an operating system, through our challenges. There is a definition. We could walk through it, but what actually is a hackathon usually is an event focused on innovation, unlocking ideas that wouldn't surface in a normal projects or normal time-to-time, day-to-day works or efforts. It is a great place for upskilling. Participants get hands-on with tools like, well, in our space, let's put it this way, AI, Copilot, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, any of these toolings. Yet again, it's an amazing platform for culture and team building, culture shifting and team building, building communities, breaking silos, driving overall enthusiasm across colleagues. But it could be also a value proposition for example, branding, talent acquisition. It could be used openly, not within organizations, but externally, attracting potential candidates and talents to join. And there are a few more aspects. Let's put it this way, that these four are usually the most obvious ones. When people are talking about hackathons, usually they focus on the first one, innovation and solutions. But I really like to focus on the second and third, the training, upskilling, and the culture and team building aspects. And the focus of this presentation is rather on that part also. So when we talk about hack, what is actually a hackathon? Let's walk it through like components of this nice vehicle, of course. A hack is usually have some type of type or format. What I refer to here is, as for example, the original one when back in Canada was focused on pure technological to improve OpenBDS. There might be hackathons that are focused on purely on mobile application, a specific programming language, like you have to create something in C#, you have to implement a new protocol, you have to work with PowerShell scripts, provide a new library for JavaScript, things like this. A type could be, instead of technical focus, could be focusing on rather good cause or charity. Let's say focus on dementia. I will show some examples of it later on. Could be also focused, instead of the type of hackathon, on various groups of society. Let's put it this way. For example, we have a nice conference in Spain. It was, I think, a month ago, BIS Summit in Madrid, where the focus was on a Power Platform. And actually, university students were brought in without any previous existing knowledge for Power Platform to create something amazing just within 5 hours. And they actually achieved magical things. Or there are various hackathons for women in tech. Could be various groups of ethnical or demographical groups of society. Or could be internal innovation hackathons, such as, for example, the Facebook like button originated from one of the internal hackathons from Facebook. When you have the type, then you also have teams, or you need usually teams, participants. A single person or two people are not necessarily hackathon. There's a developer or pair programming exercise. So you have teams, at least 2, rather 3 or 4, so that there is a healthy competition in between them to achieve something. And these teams are competing, even if it's just some soft competition, not an actual real one, for a prize, just between each other, for solving a challenge or multiple challenges, problems. This is basically the driving objective of such an event, of a hackathon. This could be any kind of problem statement. Yet again, back to the technical challenges, it could be create a new protocol that's fulfilling some aspects. If sticking now with the ERP space here for user group, it could be bringing your set of data from your ecosystem, FinOps, supply chain management, and let the teams define various interesting insights or discover various interesting insights and present it in the best way for the jury. Now I actually mentioned one part, the jury or judges. Usually there is then, if we talk about challenge and competition, judges or jury who is selecting the winner, some rules based on which those winners are selected, and some prizes potentially. It's at least nice to have for the winners. It could be something arbitrary, like a piece of paper. Rubber duck is actually an amazing achievement, usually in the space of developers where I'm moving around, at least. It could be various different prices. An important part I skipped here is the time pressure. One of the most relevant thing for me in hackathons, when I talk about hackathons, is the time pressure. I think it's a great thing. You do feel a clock ticking above your head that you have to provide some output within, let's say, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You cannot just stick around for 2 years that, okay, something will happen, maybe yes, maybe not, but not today. It's not for procrastination. You do have a time pressure, and you do know that you're competing against various teams for solving the challenge. Now, apart from this usual stuff, there is also some additional add-ons or nice to have things when you go for a ski trip, for example, with your vehicle, which could be, for example, nowadays a fairly average thing, a demo or a pitch, when it's not enough that you create something or build something or bring on the table with your team for the challenge, for the problem. You have to also present it for both the judges and the other participants, and usually in the form of an elevator pitch. So in the time frame of, let's say, 5 minutes or 7 minutes, which is very, very condensed to provide something good or bring through your volume. I really like the in-person hackathons. So normally there is a venue, although there are also virtual versions of hackathons or hybrid versions of hackathons also. But there is, regardless, a venue, whether it's a virtual space, a collaborative space like Microsoft Teams, something else, a Slack channel, or a defined coding environment, or whether that's an actual venue somewhere physically. Doesn't really matter, but that's nice to have where you can unite with your team members and maybe also with the competition. Great stuff in, yet again, the stereotypical part of hackathon is the pizza in the middle of the day. Not necessarily in a formal manner of, hey, we are breaking from 12 to 1 o'clock to eat, and then we resume our creation exercise or ideation. Rather just being around the tables and on a self-service space as ever the teams feel like to go by. There are some other parts, mentors, coaches, training, fun parts. You can create gamification, challenges, side quests, dress up things, random achievements, playing with irrelevant hardwares brought up like a car prototype, things like this to the space. All of these are the extras. The main part of the hackathon is bringing value. The value being, as we discussed in the previous slide, either upskilling, ideation, innovation, new prototypes of solutions, team building. Regardless, there is some type of value both for participants and both for the organizers and the sponsors. The very bare part of hackathon, if you really want to get it back to the root, is really a team, challenge, and time pressure. And that's all needed. But the left-hand side and the additions on the right-hand side are also good to have if we talk about a very nice, well-rounded event. And a few examples now on the screen, not popping up by themselves, so let me click it through. Around the various areas. The largest one, for example, as far as I know at least, is the NASA Space Ops, at least openly or publicly, which is a 2-day hackathon every single year, 40,000 people attending. The largest payout, at least, what is published around is the Bolt one, 40,000 people, $1 million total USD for the winner teams, multiple ones. It was focused on last year, I think, on AI-based solutions and applications. The largest private one for sticking them to our space is the Microsoft Global Hack. I think it was 7,000 people in the last time as participants internally, but it's really big. And then a few other ones which are then not necessarily technical focus one, technology focus one, like there is a hackathon for music, first prize. It's focused on counter piracy and enabling music for people with disabilities. A global game jam, creating various indie games, as far as I know, in the spirit of accessibility in gaming, and a few other ones. Arctic Cloud Developer Challenge is on the screen. That's something relevant for our space. It's Dynamics and BizApps and Power Platform focused challenge in the Nordics. I think it's in Oslo. And a few more there is actually a lot of examples. So just to shift our perspective of why we talk about them for hackathons and why I mentioned I really like it for upskilling and team building and not necessarily about the innovation or the solutions that are brought. Hackathons are not really just about coding. And by my criteria, at least the most important part are actually people themselves, the participants. So what this means, people are coming together actually to work on various problems to create solutions on a defined time frame. What we saw of the vehicle, parts of the vehicle. But how does this bring value in the sense of upskilling? Think about it. Heck, so we talk about people focusing on a given problem in a time frame, in a given closed space, collaborating with each other. It's basically mirroring a real-world cross-functional team scenario, where each role and task is an upskilling opportunity for the participants. Generally, based on at least preconception, we are talking about developers, coders, software engineers, locked together into rooms and hacking out their time. But that's not the case. Like in my example, for example, the runner for this presentation, the ERP CRM practice hackathon, we talk about business analysts, we talk about functional consultants, we talk about project managers. There are various roles who took part and who really enjoyed it and who cannot write a single line of code. Why is this? Or how is this actually relevant, apart from the upskilling opportunity in soft skills? Think about the roles when we talk about a time frame project that needs to be delivered. Indeed, yes, you need to build something, you need to implement something normally. But then, as we talked about or introduced, there is demo, there is a pitch at the end. So you need the showman. You need someone who has the skills to present, who has the skills to engage the audience, who has the skills to involve the audience in the presentation, who sells the idea effectively, both for the judges and both for the participants. If you have just developers locked together, they still have to somehow resolve this. Someone still have to step up, and somehow someone or multiple ones, that could be an option, have to step up and have to present the solution. It's helpful if someone has this already as their role, day-to-day role, but if nobody, then this is an amazing opportunity to upskill in this area. When we talk about building something and presenting something, a very important aspect is the design. It's not enough to build something functioning or something that solves the problem. It has to also look good. We really like the cherry on top of the cake, usually, as human beings. If something doesn't look nice, something doesn't look appealing, we get easily bored. We easily lose focus. Think about the user experience. Let it be, yet again, a product, a problem, a solution, a prototype, how the end users feel about it, how the usage is. Think about the UI, the look and feel. The UI could be also applicable for the presentation itself at the end. There are some surprising values here in Designer. One of the game hackathons I took part in, for example, one of the team members created background music for the game itself, just on the spot. I think within half an hour was it, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. An amazing background music that was run through the game itself. That was something very crazy. Now we do need a researcher type of role, someone who actually understands the problem, what we work on, the challenge, someone who actually can look around and identify competitors if something exists already a solution, identify the strengths and the weaknesses of our solution, what our team is building, and focus on what actually matters. Provide basically input for the building team and or the designer. And the final part, there was a hole in the middle, is then the project manager. Yet again, we talk about time frame event. So if we just let in 4 people, there is a challenge, please work on it, present something in 7 hours, most probably there will be a failure. 7 hours is very short period of time. We can talk about also 2 days, 3 days. It's very, very short. It's shorter than you think. Actually, timeline is very quickly approaching. So you need to, someone sooner or later need to step up, and someone sooner or later needs to make the team focus on the actual problem, prioritize what needs to be delivered, make sure that the dependencies are resolved and tracked, and make sure that everybody is focused on what they need to focus on. And generally, when we look behind these roles and we look at the people, something even more interesting can be seen. Or background or experiences, all of this, what we bring on the table, even if we are just a developer, for example, software developer, they bring a lot of other parts with us, is what makes us unique, or unique collection of skills. Even though, as I mentioned, for example, I'm a triplet, with my brother and sister, we are completely unique. We are still not the same, even though genetically, I think we would be like 99%, maybe 99.9, I don't know, somewhere there. We are completely different part. Even if we would be working both or all of us as developer, we would be still different because of our experiences and because of our background. Cool, we talked about the soft skills, but what about the hard ones? Like, yes, the buzzwords, the Forbes articles were talking about AI, low code shifting, business applications moving around. Soft skills are not necessarily the only ones that are attacking this when we need to upskill and we need to stay relevant. Indeed, so for a hack to be successful in our space, we do need a technical environment, a space what allows us to achieve our goal, what allows us to build against the problem, ideate, build and create prototypes, proof of concepts. And this space preferably must be either no code or low code friendly, so that there is no entry barrier for participants. In my case, yet again, from the ERP space, most of the members from the practice were from the functional consultant role, without any coding or similar knowledge. But still, it is very helpful if they can also play with the tools and create something quickly. This space or environment should be having diverse capabilities. Artificial intelligence, yet again, nowadays, user interface capabilities, automation, AI, as it's double important, data model capabilities, things like this. This space should have preferably a unified stack or seamless integration, connection between the various components, be available to try on and to build in it without investing already up ahead as an input cost for this event. Enable the rapid prototyping so that we can very quickly get some value out to showcase or idea what we want to provide for the given challenge or problem. And preferably helps with harvesting whatever has been built to be extracted from the platform, and easy handoff, no long development cycles. Anybody in the teams, maybe any idea, something that comes to mind, what space, environment, area, platform, something can fulfill this needs in our ecosystem? Something similar like this?
Quite correct. Yeah.
So I think I hear silence a bit. So there's this thing called Power Platform, for example, behind both ERP and CRM in the Microsoft Business Application space, which is actually fulfilling all of this. And the magic is that many companies are not necessarily aware of it, or should be, that it's already given, it's already there. There is no additional investment needed. Most of the companies and enterprises I'm aware of, at least, are running on some type of Office license, usually E3 or E5, and most of these components are already included. So there is already a platform there which allows the quick prototypes to be helping, upskilling, and getting to know new tooling or toolsets in this space that helps to drive or showcase then the ideas what are coming for the challenges. Actually, yet again, back to the Biz Summit in Madrid, the hackathon there, which was executed on Friday, where university students were grabbed on the morning without any pre-existing knowledge with any of this space, any of this Microsoft Cloud space. And they, last year they won. This year they were the third space, I think, maybe the second, the uni students, all overall, between also professionals, without any pre-existing knowledge, which is a very good example of how you can prototype an end-to-end solution. For example, last year they prototyped an end-to-end solution for a hospital to generate bedtime stories based on various parameters, based on user input, various parameters, and then also read it out for the children, for the end users of the application. So it's a very, very powerful platform that's on the other hand for the technical upskilling, hard skill winning part. So let's zoom out a bit. Let's step away from this. We talked about soft skill, we talked about hard skill, upskilling overall, but how does this help with team building? How does it help with culture? We already have team building, mostly usually in the companies, we have team building as a budgeted HR activity, monthly, quarterly, every year, give or take. Let it be a lunch, a dinner, let it be an excursion, a hike, going for bowling, any of these activities. And indeed, these ones are great. These ones are helping to connect various team members, help us to get to know each other a little bit better, get to know the hobbies, favorite, I don't know, colors, pets, any kind of post-work activities, pastime activities. But these are not necessarily the same ones, achieve the same connections what we can achieve throughout, let's say, working together with a colleague for 1, 2, 3 years. They don't have with the depth of connections. Back to the track, as I mentioned, I'm a triplet. There is 3 of us, which usually created a bit of friction for us when we were growing up. Even though we were taught to be nice with each other, nowadays we are, and we value each other a lot. Back at that time, we were not necessarily that way. Then the photo is just me and my brother, but it could be any of the combination. I think it's 6 various combinations at least that we can create with 3 of us. Even if we were taught to be nice, it was just not working. The outcome was very questionable. It was something forced on us. You need to be nice, you need to cooperate, you need to be there on the spot. But yeah, it achieved something. On the surface, it was working, but deeply not that much throughout the years. So to help people to grow together, we need rather to have them realize themselves that they are stronger together and to seek each other's companionship to work together. We don't need to tell them that they need to be together. We just have to create a space and facilitate and wait for the magic to happen. And actually, hackathons are amazing in this one. One of the PhD study from Pluralsight, I think, was the platform, found out, or well, came with the outcome that hackathons are leveraging psychological principles such as competition, collaboration, time constraints, all of these dynamics, which are encouraging innovative thinking and teamwork, making them effective in problem solving effectively. It's decreasing anxiety, increasing belonging, create new self-concept overall. You realize that, hey, I can create a music. Hey, actually, I can design a very nice PPT template, even though I'm usually just coding, things like this. Or, hey, I'm usually working with clients. I'm collecting requirements. I'm working on leading teams, various teams, but I never touch the systems. But hey, I was able to build actually end-to-end product. I'm able to build an application just in half an hour, a prototype that is fulfilling my needs. How cool is that? And we achieved it together. Think of hackathons as a space for controlled friction. It is not sure collaboration under time pressure. Team members really have to go through a lot of chaos, a lot of drama in that very short amount of time. And they don't have the time to reflect on the spot. They just know that they need to go through it together with each other. It is basically a space for a safe to fail space. It's psychological safety. So as I promised, here is the actual blueprint or timeline from one of the hackathons I had the luck to organize or go through, where there is 4 important stages at least with different colors. I will not be able to tell the colors. I'm colorblind, unfortunately, but it goes from the planning to preparation to the running or execution, and then the follow through or the feedback part at the end overall. Essentially, you start with the goal or value formation. What do you want to achieve? And now we are tying back into the ERP and CRM practice, my example with this hackathon. Here, what we wanted to achieve with my co-organizer was pure team building. That was our focus. We do want to break down the silos. Our practice team members are geolocated mostly in Spain, yes, but still in various areas of Spain, various cities. And we are 2 different practice, ERP and CRM, so there is not too much collaboration, cooperation opportunity between each other. On the other hand, we also are working in consultancy. So even if we are from the same practice, let's put it this way, for example, CRM. We usually work just in smaller teams of 2, 3, 4 people and not with the full practice together. So we barely meet actually our colleagues, even though we are the same practice. And my co-organizer really wanted to break down these silos, to facilitate a bit of team building. So that was our goal, that was our value, what we wanted to achieve. The next step is then stakeholder engagement. Find your executive sponsors, find and identify the additional stakeholders that needs to be involved in the process. Let it be HR, let it be logistics, let it be marketing, branding, learning, wherever you need your co-workers or collaboration, identify them, map them out, and early on engage your sponsors and make your idea also their idea to achieve. We had really great luck in this one. We really didn't have to invest too much time on stakeholder engagement. Everybody was on board from the first moment on, and so straightforward, the great opportunity in such a hackathon. Then going through the concept, I will dive deeper in this one in the next slide, as promised, to look deeper, but you need to formulate sooner or later, this is the time effectively. You need to understand what is your hackathon then, how will it look like. That's cool that you want to achieve team building, for example, in my case, or you want to achieve upskilling in the AI space. You want to innovate and create new accelerators or internal tooling for ERP. You want to discover insights in your data set of FinOps. But how actually does a hackathon look like for this? How does the concept of the hackathon look like? And here we actually spent a lot of time. I believe sometimes you might have luck to be quicker when you actually know already from the start of how your concept look like. We need to iterate a lot through it, but later about this a bit more. And when you already know what you want to do, then you need to figure out your budget and your timeline. In this scenario, this was a very low budget hackathon. We talk about a few hundred euros overall. It was mostly going into catering and prices. And the timeline was very important for us so that we could begin actually with the engagement for our audience, for our team members who wanted to be on board fully with us together, with an actual deadline set that, hey, there will be a hackathon in the middle of June, for example. Audience engagement, get everybody on board, make it their own impulse to be wanting to be in this event together. So it's not like you must take part of it, no. Make an event so appealing that they want to be part of it. But yet again, we had actually a very good engagement ratio on which we worked up also to achieve better numbers. The concept where we arrived at the end was a single day hackathon from 8 in the morning until I think 6 in the evening, which is a very, very condensed time frame. So we settled at the end with separating ideation workshop, in this case, into a separate event earlier to identify the challenges. We didn't want it ourselves to bring the challenge, but rather we wanted something, and this connects with audience engagement, bring some challenges that are familiar for our team members that they wanted to solve themselves together with the team members. So we held 2 workshops to ideate and iterate through and refine through various problem statements, challenges, what the various practice members see. And then together we voted and selected the top winner 2 that were brought into the hackathon as the challenges to tackle if the teams just want to straightforward go with the challenge. The teams still had the choice in the hack to define a new challenge, but then they had to go through themselves the refinement within the small time frame, which is tricky, let's put it this way. And the third important part, the other parts I will skip in this one, is the team creation. For us, it was very important, the team building, as I mentioned. So we actually handpicked the teams and team members to be together. We made sure that there are juniors, seniors together, that there are ERP, CRM practice people together. We made sure that there are people together who never worked together with, and the people who always work together on deliveries, projects, implementations, they are preferably separated from each other to really create a diverse setup of teams. Functional technical profiles also in every single team, so that there are a various set of hands who can code, who can advise, and who can research or define the problems in a better way. And overall, yes, this was end-to-end, I think 4 months, give or take, until we achieved things. It could be done quicker. We were also just taking our time to refine our idea and concept. And since I mentioned a lot of time the concept, a strong concept defines the hackathon's purpose and appeal to the participants. It is important. You do know the value, what you want to achieve, team building, innovation, acceleration, solutions, upskilling. That is a value for your organizer and for the sponsors. But the concept itself is the purpose and the appeal for the participants. In this case, for example, we had to go through back and forth because I mentioned our audience is given the practices, but they are geolocated in various areas. And we really wanted to focus on them. The fact that they are in various spaces has caused us a bit of pain with the format. Is it virtual? Is it in person? Can we do both? Can we do hybrid? We really wanted to be in person, to be fair, because nothing, at least in my concept and my co-organizer is on the same page. We think that nothing beats whiteboarding sessions for 3 hours in an open space with other teams together. But still, we had to bounce a lot of times back and forth whether we are able to achieve the format that we were thinking about. And the theme, the challenge, it needs to resonate with potential attendees. At the end, as said, we settled with ideation workshops instead. So we didn't bring the challenges or the themes for the hackathon itself, just the overall concept that something that improves our day-to-day life in the practices, and that's all. And within that, then define the challenges per teams or together. This might be also turned upside down. So if you have a strong feeling about your concept and the theme itself, what you want to achieve within it, for example, there is a business case that you are working together with internally or externally with customers, clients, or partner companies, or if there is a type of charity event, there is a set of data that you want to work on or work against, then you can also bring it already, and that helps you formalizing the concept and define the audience and the format based on that. And the second important part, joining as a detail into the concept itself, is the time frame. As I mentioned, I really like the condensed ones, so 1 or 2 day hackathons. But generally, when we talk about hackathons, there are variations. There isn't really a preset rule. So you can do very, very condensed ones. I wouldn't go down lower than 1 single day because that's already very, very stretched to achieve something, especially if you don't have the previously existing skill set and you have to also upskill within the hackathon. But you can also drag it out. You can drag it out for multiple weeks, even multiple months, let's put it this way. But then that's something that you are not on site. So that will be not in person necessarily in a venue, but rather you let the teams themselves to collaborate on their own, co-organize on their own to achieve the goal. And you have to have then different expectations or outcomes, or the other way around, if you have different expectations or outcomes, then based on that you can choose the time frame yet again. So it's interdependency. You cannot expect, for example, for a single day solution, a fully fledged solution with all the features and all the nice nuts and bolts on top of it, with also the cherry, just for fun, if it's a single day, because it's a very limited time frame. On the other hand, you can do that with multiple week hackathon. While a single day hackathon is very good tool for producing or creating ideas, or even produce 1 single or maybe 2 proof of concepts for those ideas to showcase how those ideas would look like for the challenge. I think if I remember correctly, then this user group, DOG, you have a promptathon coming up also in December. That's something similar as in Ideathon. So that's actually cool stuff. I saw it somewhere in promotion material, if I'm wrong. No, Nancy?
We're hoping to pull it off, but we're still looking for the right person to run the session. So it may get swapped, right, Tanya?
Got it.
Yeah.
But for example,
Possible.
that one would be something similar like an Ideathon. That's something shorter. You don't actually expect then a fully fledged working products or prototypes, rather prompts and working around on that part. So that's not multiple weeks necessary. But still, it could be also multiple days or events. And joining to this one, as I mentioned, and bringing in the skills into the event, you cannot necessarily expect every single team member already know everything in a single day event. So preferably you would assign a coach per team who would guide the team members into the right directions, let's put it this way. So the idea is coming, the challenge, the idea for the challenge is coming from the team, but then how to resolve it, how to get to something valuable by the end of the day, to present it in front of the jury, for example, or to achieve some kind of prototype. It's very cool to have a coach who actually knows the area that we are building against or building in. It could be industry coach, it could be technical coach. It's really just relevant for your theme. On the other hand, if it's a 2-3 day hackathon, it's very nice to have SMEs on demand. What I mean by this, that you have, let's say, a table or various tables just run in the space, where there are SMEs that are shared for all the teams that you can go there and consult. These SMEs could be coming yet again from the team, from the challenge. So if, for example, your challenge is a business challenge from a customer, from a client, from a partner, then actually a member from that company is sitting there who can be consulted and drive the solutioning. But this SME could be also, subject matter expert could be also someone who very, very well knows FinOps applications, ins and outs limitations, who very, very deeply knows integration patterns, various areas in the enterprise ecosystem. Really, SMEs on demand. You can go consult, but it's not directly tied to your team. And when we talk about longer multiple week hackathons, it's rather preferred to have actual training sessions. This could be also done, to be fair, in the 2-3 day hackathon, but in the longer ones, definitely. Setting up app in a day, application in a day, automation in a day, data in a day, any kind of X in a day type of trainings, for example. And these are actually great areas to help with career growth, additionally, on top of all the values. Because this can help with achieving internal and external visibility for all the attendees. What I mean by this, both these trainers and coaches can be coming from media or senior leadership ranks, for example, already helping with networking and visibility for the attendees. And also the same way around, just for practicing, for example, the elevator pitches during the day that could be involving various important stakeholders from the company or from the space or area or domain that you're working in. And it's a very good tool to leverage career growth through visibility, basically forming connections and networks. And being aware of the time, really the final slide, I think it's the final slide, the lessons learned, just to quickly run it through. These were one of the most important ones for me, at least, from the CRM/ERP practice hackathon, from at least that one, is find your allies early. What I mean by this is not the stakeholders necessarily, but also co-organizers or partners and your allies overall in this. I had a great luck with my co-organizer. I'm not necessarily the most people person. I'm coming from a technical background, whereas my co-organizer is. So my co-organizer really helped me cut through a lot of red tapes with networking with the various parties. Whereas I was focused more on the hands-on stuff, and it worked magic and achieved a lot. Find your allies early and go through it. This is not a single person game anyway. It's better the same way as participating in teams, also to organize and make magic happen in teams. Narrow down and set achievable goals. What I mean by this is you can set your goals to have an end-to-end solution, but if you have only time frame for one single day, that will not be achieved. You can have your goals to completely upskill your teams with up in a day or automation in a day or copilot in a day type of trainings. But yet again, if it's a 7-hour day, 7 hours is very, very short even for ideation, let alone to provide proof of concepts or prompts or other ideas. So really focus on what is the most important part for you, what you want to achieve, and move forward with it. I really like gamification. I really like side quests and challenges. I think those add some extra for the atmosphere. Like in this CRM ERP hackathon, but also in a few other ones, having some achievements, some cards, some things that you can work against also with your team that are not necessarily part of the main challenge, will not necessarily count into the final prizes or judgment criteria, but are still providing either guiding and coaching the teams through the event. So you must select a team name, you must select a team captain, which at the end then will help us organizers to communicate with a single person from the team. Or you must create your branding colors. This is already helping them to drive into visual aid for the presentation, things like this. But yet again, if your hackathon is very short and you don't have big teams, but rather small teams, forget this. Narrow it down what is your focus and set your goals to be achievable. A hackathon, as much as I try to say it or sell it in this way, it's not a single-use magic potion. It will not achieve your value necessarily on a single occasion, just on the spot. It will move you in the right direction. It will get you from A to B, and you will be definitely off in a better place. But it's not a one-off one. You need to have follow-up, you need to have feedback, and preferably you need to have a second or third or fourth iteration also moving forward to have a long-lasting outcome after this. Participant buy-in, indeed. So if you're forcing participants to be part of it, it will not work for the team building aspect. It might work for the innovation or ideation, but for team building, definitely not. Make the event their own. And this can be achieved with basically proper marketing, knowledge sharing beforehand necessary, involving in the various stages of the organization, ideation in this case, with the challenges. And overall, just be transparent with overall the communication, the goals, and what you want to achieve. Perfection doesn't exist. Don't chase it. This is just connected with overall the narrow down and set achievable goals. You need to be sure and need to be aware of what you want to achieve in your time frame. Budget limitations, indeed, how long your duet is stretching. Don't want more. For example, in this case, you can avoid surprises quickly. In our case, we had the unlucky scenario one day before the event that, oh no, we don't have any judges because 3 or 4 selected judges had to cancel because of various different commitments. And we really had to be aware of a limitation of who can fulfill, who can step in, who can help us to step in, who can be still relevant as a judge, but who is still available on a single day notice. So really just be aware of your limitations overall from early on. Transparency communication. Share what are the winning criteria so the teams know what they have to focus on and what they can forget, or what is important and what is not. What is a load, what they can do, what is expected to be delivered so that they don't focus on building a fully fledged solution if only the presentation is being judged at the end, for example. Really focus on and be clear of what is expected, what should be done. And the prices. You don't really need fancy prices. As I mentioned, in one of my circles, in developer circles, having a single rubber duck per winning team is an amazing achievement already, and people are very happy with that one. It could be also recognition, a piece of paper, naming a conference room in your office, having access to a special training, or being the first selected one. Receiving a Lego set somehow also is a very good winning achievement nowadays in these circles. It doesn't need to be fancy. A dinner with the stakeholders, the executive sponsors, or a chance for picking their brain for a discussion for a half an hour, that also works fine. It doesn't have to be fancy, because if you ensure, based on all the lessons learned and based on the parts that I have shown, that the participants are really want to be taking part of it, and it's really also their own event, they will actually forget about the price. They will not care about it, let's put it this way, because the price itself will be part of the experience, that being part of it, and the price itself will be also for them the learning, the upskilling, the team building, and everything else what comes as value for the organizer and sponsor. And then through my final slide, just here a few examples yet again from this one. At the end, as a feedback or the follow-up from the event, why we know that it was a great success. This event, for example, is measurably increased engagement rate. We talk about give or take 80 people in this time in the practice, CRM and ERP. And usually Teams meetings, email communications, things like this had engagement rate of 20, 30, maybe 40 people. And we achieved a 75% increase, measurable increase after the hackathon with the attendees in a longer lasting time frame. And based on the feedback, customer satisfaction, which is basic customer, in this case, the attendees, the participants, and the net promoter score were fairly high. I mean, these are not numbers from 100. These are numbers from 5, just to treat it in correct level, 4.92 or 4.95. So in a nutshell, thank you very much. This is overall the topic of hackathons for this space. I would be very happy to take your questions, and thank you for taking part. And here below, you find a link also from Microsoft. This also I found just lately. Unfortunately, I was not aware of it, but there is actually a hackathon workbook provided by Microsoft that is available of how you can organize your own hackathon moving forward. So thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today. We have a question from Janine in the chat. What should the main focus of the organizers be during the hackathon? So I guess while the event is actually running.
Indeed, that's a good one. That's an interesting one. And I wouldn't say there is a silver bullet for it. It really depends on your focus, and really depends on your stakeholders. So if you do have, for example, team captains, then there is already someone who is taking care of the teams themselves overall, where the needs and dependencies, then you don't have to take care of that one. On the other hand, if you don't, or the teams are small, then you should be definitely focusing on your participants first. Your main important aspect is that they have everything what they need available and they enjoy the time there, wherever they are. The same way around for us, in this case, this CRM ERP, we did have the team captains. Our focus was mostly being the SMEs on demand and preparing always the next step. So on the day, preparing when the teams arrived, handing out the entry gifts for every single team members, providing them the materials, papers, pens, whiteboards. When they already hacked, then working on the catering, so that it arrives on time. Then when there was catering and they had a pizza break, then we started to focus on the presentation space to be set up. It really depends on what is your focus and who is your helping aids and helping hands. And don't forget to enjoy also yourself the time. So that should be your priority.
Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this for us. It's something we're starting to embrace further in our organization, right? To try to use it for a different way of doing training across our practice globally. So thank you for sharing. We are a little bit 1 minute over time, so thank you for joining. We will get this posted on YouTube if anybody wants to rewatch it. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a great day.
I just posted our final meetup for December. There's the link in the chat there. So I assume it's still going on, but I just posted the link there. Thank you so much, András. This was awesome. Learned a lot.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye.